What's up, my Degens? How we doing? Welcome to Dynasty Degens. We have a fun one today. We're talking my guys. So we're going over the gambit, talking about the guys. I'm smacking my mic. I'm so excited. We're talking about everybody that we are excited about for 2026. We're not leaving drafts without them. We're going to reach for them. We're going, it doesn't matter. ADP's out the window. And no better person to do this with is my boy, Ray. Ray's been on with us before. There's no introduction needed. I appreciate you, Ray. How you doing, man?
I'm good. We got football back tonight, baby. Football back, a couple of weeks away from everybody getting going, training camp clips going crazy, college football around the corner. And most importantly, the kids, they damn near back in school. Got a couple of more days and we can ship the kids off. So I'm feeling good, man.
That's it, man. I was just talking to my girl about that a little while ago where summer goes crazy, but I'm so excited. 2 weeks, he's hitting that bus, and I'm just parlaying, legs up, and I get to relax a little bit, which I'm excited for. Chris, how you doing over there, man?
Good evening, good people.
Hold on, man.
That's all I got to say, man.
I like that.
This is a pleasure to be on with Ray. And we got football. I got it on right behind here. I mean, it's NFL, but it's football. So it's not practice with my kid.
This is what you've been waiting for, and I don't care what you say. We got Carson Beck and Kenny Pickett. That's fine with me. You are talking about this for months on months when you're sitting there, at your house saying I'd watch any kind of football right now. So that's what you're gonna get, But let's get into it, man. Let's have some fun. We're talking my guys. Ray, I want to go right to you first, man. I know you're going to come with heat. I know that you got your guys. I'm surprised that Pickens isn't on this list, and I'm sure that everybody knows he's your guy. I was almost sure he was going to be on there, but give me one guy that you have to have in 26, whether it's a new OC, new situation, he's fallen out of favor, whatever it is. Give me some reasoning and tell me who your guy is.
Yeah, man, Pickens was on it, and then I read the show sheet, and then you had put in the show sheet like Pickens and Javonte Williams of last year. So then I was like, all right, well, I can't go on here and gush about Pickens anymore. But I'll talk about somebody that I'm drafting every time that seems to have fallen out of favor in the fantasy community because he's not the world's best route runner, because he's probably not the best wide receiver that you would build in a lab. But I don't give a damn about any of that when it comes to scoring fantasy points. Rasheed Rice out of Kansas City. I mean, I understand everything that happened over the summer. I understand the jail stint. I understand the stuff with the knee. We still got 4 or 5 weeks to the regular season. And when he steps on an NFL field, there are very few players who get targeted at the rate that he does. Over the last 2 years, over the last 5 years, there have been 2 players to have a lower than 5-yard average depth of target, but get 20% of the team's red zone targets. That name is Rasheed Rice in back-to-back years. When he's on the field, he's a yak monster. He is a running back that plays receiver, and for everything that he's not, and the clip of him running that lumbering slow post route, you know how many of them he got last year? How many post routes Rasheed Rice ran? You want to know? 9. That ain't his game. I don't give a damn. He's not going to run down the field. He's not running double moves to that degree. You're with Mahomes. It's a limited offense around him. I'm rocking with Rasheed Rice this year.
I love it, man. Honestly, what's funny is whenever I have a guest on and I have a impending trade in one of my dynasty leagues and they talk about him, I got to ask you about it, right? So right now, my team is contending. I have a good team. Stacked at up and down. Running back is a little whatever, but I'm okay there. I got Rasheed Rice in my inbox for a 27 first. And this 27 first, I have confidence that I can make this a later pick. Where do you have Rasheed Rice against this 27 first class? Would you move a late first for him?
Production-wise, he's probably going to outproduce what a late 7 first is, all right? I would say this without seeing your entirety of your roster. If this is just like a luxury edition and you're already pretty solid right now as it is, then I'd say this. Don't make that move today. I wouldn't make that move today and give up the leverage of the 27 first today, okay? In season, I guarantee you, unless, right, he goes absolutely ape crap from the start, like you could probably buy him for a 27 first. So right now, today, I wouldn't want to blow the leverage right now if you're already a strong contending team. I always say just wait and be patient. It's August 6th. You probably don't want to blow that right now, but I would try to finagle that deal some other way, right? Can I give you another Hopium type player in a second and then you kick me back Rice and swing it that way?
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. I just like picking the brain. Chris, I'm going to kick it over to you, man. Give me one of your guys and hit me with fire. Tell me exactly why you're in on this guy and why he's your guy for 26.
Yeah, right. So this is a guy I've talked about before, but it's pretty easy why, and it's Omarian Hampton. And so Omarian's a guy who, he didn't necessarily struggle last year. He just played half the season. And if you extrapolate that over the whole season, he'd have over 1,000 yards rushing, about 350 receiving, 9 to 10 touchdowns. That looks like a pretty solid rookie season to me. And then you add in the fact that Alt and Slater were both out last season, and you can see why the Chargers really struggled down the stretch last year. But for me, Hampton, I mean, if you watched him back in college, and I'm a Knowles fan, so when he ripped 265 yards and 5 touchdowns on a Swiss cheese Knowles defense in 24, I didn't care that the defense sucked. The talent was there. I could see it. And I know that Genty was the number 1 back 2 years ago, but I had Hampton right there with him. And going into this season, I mean, let's see here, the Raiders offense or the Chargers offense? Who do you think is going to be in the red zone a little more, right? So I think the Raiders got good things going on, but they don't have the Chargers firepower right now. And there's other things. It's not just Hampton's size, his speed. He was 3rd in missed tackles forced last season. If you per attempt. So taking that into consideration, I mean, for me, I have him ranked at RB4 dynasty wise, right ahead of Genty, just behind Jeremiah Love. Okay. And the only reason I really have him ahead of Genty is simply the teams that they're both on. I mean, talent-wise, they're both so close for me, and I have them both ahead of Achane, just because of situation, really. And so then you add in Mike McDaniel coming to town, right? And then you break down what kind of touch share he had last season with Miami. It was basically 2/3 to Achane, and then 17% to Ollie Gordon, 17% to Jalen Wright. And I see a similar situation. I know everybody loves Keaton Mitchell coming to town, and then Kamani Vidal's back there. He did all right in Hampton's absence, but Hampton's the real deal. Let's be real here. Keaton Mitchell, he's carried the ball more than 10 times. How many times in his career, right? Keaton Mitchell's special too in his own way, but he's a 5 to 7 touches a game type guy. And so I just see a similar touch share going on there for McDaniel. And I mean, everybody's excited about him. So I don't think
I mean, he's up there as far as, hype in the offseason goes. But I think there are guys where you can be hyped for the hype guys. You can absolutely be excited for these guys for a reason. And I'm with you on that. I am in on Hampton. I think that if he stayed fully healthy last year for the stretch run for the Chargers, they would have made it a little farther. I think they would have had a little more success in the postseason, but they also, would have had Hampton as far as value goes. I know that he's right there, but we would have this conversation, Genty or Hampton. And I think that would be a little closer ADP wise. But I'm going to jump over to my guy right now, and he's no surprise to anybody that's listening to my content or following me at all. I got Zay Flowers in there, and I think that, Ray, you're in on Zay Flowers to a degree. I think that there's not a lot of reason for me to go into last year. People know what he did last year. We're talking about 86 catches, 1,211 yards. But what really pops for me is his target share. Target share jumped a little bit. Obviously, his role just grew. We're talking about 20.6 to a 24.9 over the first 2 seasons, and his positional versatility, obviously, just expanded. We're talking about usage on the outside, inside, and then the slot usage even going from 34 to 41 Yards per route run rising from 1.68 to 3.71. I just love what I'm seeing from the metrics from this guy. I just think that you can point at anything, but you also have to talk about Declan Doyle coming to town. We're talking about a healthy, a hungry Lamar Jackson, and the fact that we're looking at somebody that might actually have some help. You know, a healthy Mark Andrews benefits Zay Flowers to a degree. We're talking about somebody that can line up almost anywhere on the field, and without that defensive, he's got like a little bit of help from Andrews, and then we're seeing Jacoby Lane and everybody kind of like jumping out a little bit in camp. I like that for Zay Flowers. People will say, oh, his target competition is a little spicier, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think you can make the case that actually hurts him in the sense that, Zay Flowers was a one-man show last year. So I think that we're talking about efficiency, jumping up. We're talking about red zone targets. I think that he gets more touchdowns this year. I'm just all in on Zay Flowers making that jump. He was wide receiver 7 last year. Even if he finishes wide receiver 7 this year, we're talking about somebody that is exceeding his ADP by about 7 or 8 currently. So give me Zay Flowers all day, baby. Ray, you're with me on Zay Flowers, right? I know that I've seen you posting stuff and talking about Zay Flowers. Any take on him?
Hell yeah, I'm with you. I truly love the receiver position, studying usage, how it translates year over year, and I created something pretty cool that tracks usage probably in the best visual way that people can see it. And his historical range of outcomes based on what he did last year puts his high-end outcome at about 17.3 points per game, and then his median range outcome, what's expected, is right around 15.3 fantasy points per game. That puts him in the expected usage range of Chris Olave from last year, BTJ at 2024, Evans in 24, high-end Nico Collins of 24, CeeDee Lamb at 2024. So there's no target competition. I don't know what the hell people think. No Elijah Surratt or Jacoby Lane or any target competition. Lamar Jackson over the last 2 years has averaged about 4 targets a game to his dedicated wide receiver 2. 4. Whether that be Rashad Bateman or DeAndre Hopkins. And now you're telling me that Jacoby freaking Lane is going to come in and out-command those guys? Stop it. It's Zay Flowers. It's Derrick Henry. It's Lamar Jackson. Yes, I'm in on Zay.
Hell yeah, man. I'm going to keep it going with you, though, man. I know that I just hit you with a little Zay talk, but I know you got another wide receiver that you want to talk about on the pod. I'm going to lead you into that. Obviously, we saw this guy transition a little bit, move over to have – I mean, I'm not gonna knock Caleb Williams at all, but we're talking about somebody with maybe the most generational quarterback that we've seen, I guess, in the last. Man, I can't knock Brady. I don't know how I'm going to word this, but you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, we're looking at somebody that is playing with one of the top quarterbacks in the league right now and might be the only guy that he has the ball. I mean, we can talk about the competition over there, but tell me why you're in on this guy this year.
Yeah, I mean, the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. I don't know if y'all saw the article by Bill Barnwell a couple of weeks ago on ESPN that ranked the Buffalo Bills offensive unit as one of the worst in the NFL. Yet you're talking about a player who's consistently in the MVP running. That's how good Josh Allen is. And as stellar of a season that Khalil Shakir had last year, like, he doesn't hold a candle to DJ Moore's profile. This isn't going to feel the same way that Stephon Diggs was to Buffalo back in 2020. Like, DJ Moore and that version of Diggs are two different players. So my expectation isn't DJ Moore looks like Stephon Diggs, 1,500 yards, but he absolutely is the best wide receiver they have right now. He is the best pass catcher on that team. Josh Allen, when you're talking about one of the best, you look at their win total, 10.5 implied wins, over under for their win total right now. Projected offense to score over 45 touchdowns. The market's got him priced in for 48 offensive touchdowns. 26 projected points per game for the Buffalo Bills would be second only to the LA Rams. And a Josh Allen who, when he does have a number one wide receiver, will hyper target it. The vibes have been great throughout training camp. I think this is like a poor man's Diggs situation to Buffalo. I've got DJ Moore projected for right around 1150 through the air. And then if there's some touchdown potential there for some deep plays, I just think that where he's going in drafts, he's absolutely in position to outkick his draft capital and ADP cost right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have been fading him. A lot of people kind of look at it as, DJ Moore was definitely dipping last year in production, and really, there's a lot of factors that went into it. And I don't think there's any reason for you to think that DJ Moore doesn't have that skill set, doesn't have that ability to be a top 12 wide receiver this year. I think that, that it's very, I guess, an overreactive way of thinking when you're talking about somebody that was just ready to go out of Chicago. I think that marriage had run its course.
It was done, man.
Yeah,
it was done. The writing was on the wall.
They had two young players. Look what they did. They didn't just kick out DJ Moore. Olamide Zaccheaus, you can get your ass on up out of here too. Cole Kmet, go to the bench, right? It is a youth infusion, and he did the same stuff that Luther Burden does. Like it was a redundant asset.
Yep.
Ben Johnson got his guy. Move on. You're playing with Josh Allen. You're playing with Josh Allen here. This is Iron Man at QB. I get he's not the guy he was back in Carolina, but this is going to look like a monumental upgrade from throwing the ball to goddamn Keon Coleman week in and week out in Buffalo.
I love Keon Coleman catching strays on this pod, baby. That's how we do it around here.
I can't believe we brought him up. What was his Trinity score last year?
Low.
Yeah, and bringing that up, if you guys aren't following Ray's Trinity score, man, it's some of the best content in the game. Go check it out. The Trinity score is definitely something that I follow when I'm breaking down prospects. I'm looking over guys. It is a good piece of content. It is great to add to your process if you guys are out there scouting players. Chris, give me another guy that you are all in on for 26.
All right. Right before that, Ray, I just want to say I watched Scott and Shane last night rolling through your new setup that you guys have. It's awesome. Nerd Boy and I are on Dynotize now, and your guys' setup is like almost the same, except you have the Trinity score too. So
y'all killing it too, man. I see what you're doing over there. Like, come on, you can give me love. Here's the thing. Can I say this right quick? Can I say this real quick for real? I've seen what y'all are doing. I've seen the things that y'all are putting out from a website standpoint. I'm big on visuals, right? I think it's how I learn. We got to have more creators supporting other creators. There's enough pie in the fantasy space for multiple sites to exist, multiple sites to show love, multiple sites to do the same. We all got trade calculators, man. We all got ADP, right? There's enough in here for everybody to get a little piece of it. So as you say this about me, I'm going to just tell you, I see that damn black and neon green up and down the timeline. Y'all doing the damn thing too. Yeah,
we appreciate you, man. Thanks, and that's how it is. You got to lift everybody up, because I think that there's a misconception in the space. I always have love for everybody that are grinding, doing it. And I you know what I mean? Like, I always have reached out to guys. I've reached out to you. I've reached out to anybody in the space. I love it, man. I love what I see. And I always got support for anybody that's out there doing their thing out there. So, all right, Chris. Hit me with it.
All right. So I decided to pick a quarterback as my next guy. And I went with a dude who I think is just a tad disrespected out in the community. And that's Bo Nix, Denver Broncos. So I grabbed Bo Nix in a couple of startups this offseason so far because, well, it's super value, right? I got him at the end of the third in one. I got him in the fifth round in another. Like, the dude's at the back end of the tier one, I would put, if I want to extrapolate tier one of the quarterbacks, right? Guys that I feel comfortable with as a QB1, right? Bo Nix, QB7, back-to-back seasons, first and second years in the league. Averages 3,800 yards passing, 25 and 29 touchdowns passing. He's very consistent with his ground game, about 400 yards each of his first two seasons, 4 and 5 touchdowns on the ground. Like, this guy, so in his rookie draft in 2024, right? Caleb went ahead of him, Jaden Daniels, as well as Drake May, all ahead of him, both in the real draft and in our rookie drafts. But guess who has scored the most points of all four of those quarterbacks? It's Bo Nix. And when the dude's got Sean Payton running the offense, I know that he's not calling the plays this year, at least to start the season. we'll see how that goes. But now, what does Denver do this offseason, right? They got a great offensive line, bring back J.K. Dobbins, and instead of just drafting somebody like Omar Cooper, with all respects to Omar Cooper, with their late first, they go out and get Jalen Waddle, right? And you can say what you want about Jalen Waddle being in the blue tent, all this and that, but he is way more close to an elite talent than what Omar Cooper is. And so giving Bo Nix an elite or close to elite talent like Jalen Waddle, that is stepping it up. I mean, they force-fed Troy Franklin the ball so much last year to try and make him into something, right? I mean, Cortland Sutton is what he is. He's going to be a solid veteran on his side of the field, but you know Sean Payton, he wants to find some guy that he can maneuver around and have fun with on offense, and that's Jalen Waddle. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but if not, Denver does have a deep wide receiver room. I don't know if it was the same article that Bill Barno, but Denver was also rated by somebody as a super low talent. And I think I remember it from your show. Maybe it was you and Jay Rich, Ray, bringing up Denver's wide receivers and just going nuts. Like, look at the talent they have. They do have talented receivers from Sutton. Then you go Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant. Like, these guys are talented. They don't suck. So now you add in Jalen Waddle on top. I love it. And you bring in Justin Jolly. Man, I'm in for the Denver offense to at least do what they did last season. Okay, so I'm good with what they did last season for where you get Bo Nix. And so if he does any better than that, it's just gravy.
Yeah, I think that Bo Nix has become a value. I think that people are looking at that injury. I mean, he scoots too. You know, there's somebody that we're looking at these guys, and he provides a lot of value on his legs. He extends plays. He flushes out of the pocket. He can definitely get these guys open. If they're not open on the first read, he definitely moves. And I hope that injury doesn't affect him, because I think that's really where a lot of his value comes from. But yeah, that defense, I mean, they're always putting him in a position to be successful. And I think that you got to look at that as well. I went with quarterback, my next guy too, and I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence is in the same mold where he's sneaky on his legs. He's kind of undervalued when we're talking about guys, super flex formats, and really just like what we've seen in the short amount of time. Obviously, he's 26 years old, so it's not like he is, that much older than somebody like Bo Nix, when we're looking at a guy that broke out second half last year, QB4 overall, but 4,007 yards, 29 touchdowns. And from weeks 12 to 18, he had 30.86 fantasy points. I constantly hear people talking about Parker Washington. I hear about Brian Thomas Jr. making a jump, obviously coming back to his rookie form. And then we're looking at Liam Cohen, year 2 offense. And everybody's really high on this receiving core. Everyone is really hyping these guys up. But I don't hear a lot of hype about Trevor Lawrence, because I think when this offense is moving and this offense is making jumps, when Parker Washington is looking like a dog, and we're looking at, Brian Thomas Jr. coming back and getting out of his mental stuff, and obviously Travis Hunter's still there. Jacoby Myers, I haven't heard a word about him, but he's most consistent wide receiver in the game and undervalued to the most important degree when we're talking about just a consistent floor wide receiver. Trevor Lawrence moves with this offense. Trevor Lawrence will absolutely rise with these guys. If these guys are making a jump, Trevor Lawrence is making a jump. I just think that we saw enough from last year to be all in on this guy. And I think that we're looking at, an absolute revival when we're talking about, and maybe one of the most efficient offenses next year in a year 2 Liam Cohen offense. I'm just excited for this. I'm excited for Trevor Lawrence. I think that there is a lot to be had when we're talking about a guy that's being drafted at QB7 right now. And I think that is fine, but I think that he has top 5 quarterback potential this year. I think that we're looking at somebody that absolutely rises to the next tier. And with that, I'm going to have to kick it over.
I am definitely on T-Law for sure. You didn't even mention Travis Hunter. So,
I mean, do people kind of forget he had 9 rushing touchdowns last year? And I'm not I'm not banking on that again, but I'm totally with you. His rushing upside inside of that offense, and then it just taking a step forward year 2 with Liam Cohen. I think it's one of those things, man, where people still remember how it took, and it will happen quicker for T-Law. But remember how people didn't want to buy into Brock Purdy, and like no matter what he did or how efficient he was, it's like, man, this Brock Purdy dude. I don't know. I think people to a lesser degree, because he was the #1 overall pick, for what they're still kind of like, is T-Law really real? But I mean, he not only is Cohen back, but he got Grant Udinski back. A lot of people thought he might lose his OC to Cleveland. I mean, this is one where this dude was an MVP finalist last year. The second half of the season, you said it. He was the best damn fantasy quarterback, him and Josh Allen. So, good call. He's not getting the type of respect that he probably should.
He has that Kyle Pitts taste to him. You know what I mean? Like where you almost valued him to a way higher degree than he should have been valued when he came out, a generational quarterback, generational prospect, somebody that's going to come in and change the league. And I think that people have a bad taste in their mouth because they valued him so high. They valued him at that range for so long in fantasy where it's hard to get back to where he was. You know, it's hard to like get that stink off, so to speak.
Well, he had been projected the 101 since like his freshman season at Clemson, right? So he had all this momentum and everything and all this buildup. And then he wasn't as good as Joe Burrow from the previous year, right? So every year now it seems like we're getting a generational talent, right? And it's just not the case. Like there's not that many generational quarterbacks.
I think that quarterback-wise is really dependent on where they go and their ecosystem.
Yes,
and
it's
really
huge. And look at who he started with, right? I mean, that was a disaster. You could see the writing on the wall. People forget how ugly that was year 1 for Trevor Lawrence. We all hate it.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to a lot of guys that are going 101 in drafts. You know, Caleb Williams definitely obviously had some tough sledding a little bit for a stretch of time, you know, and I think it's the reality of the situation. You know, Cam Ward, all these guys, they fall into a really tough spot being the top prospects of the class. And sometimes they just can't get out of it. And it's not necessarily their fault. But before we get to the next guy that we're going over to Ray for, we did plug Dynotize, but we're going to actually hear from them and talk about a little bit of what they offer from their platform. So we'll be right back after this video. That is Dynotize.com. You can go over there, check out all their I guess there's a countless amount of tools. We're talking about player values, rankings, all the analytics you can find under the sun. So there's just a ton of stuff over there to pop into and really just help you out in your leagues. But we are talking my guys, and let's kick it over to your last guy, Ray. Who is somebody that you absolutely must draft in 26?
Yeah, you know, I would love to have Brock Bowers or Trey McBride in every league, right? Give me that Colston Loveland if I can, but we all know it doesn't work out that way. So when I'm trying to find a tight end that can actually ascend to a range that makes a difference on my roster, this is one, man. I talked about it with Matt Harmon on Tuesday. I don't know why so many people are overthinking this situation. I guess the football part of me doesn't understand how one of the most difficult positions for a rookie to transition to in the NFL outside of quarterback is tight end. You got to be able to freaking block, run, you got to understand all these assignments. And very rarely do you see these tight ends come in and produce right away. Yet Harold Fannon Jr. came in as a 3rd-round pick out of the MAC, walked into the NFL, and 5th in tight end targets with 107. David Njoku's out of the building. The same David Njoku that some people think is going to command significant targets in LA those targets are vacated. You couldn't name the other 2 tight ends in Cleveland. And yeah, they drafted 2 rookie wide receivers, but let's be real. We're talking about 2 rookie wide receivers. They don't have Puka Nacua and Jamar Chase out there on the wide receiver, the wide receiver outside. And then Todd Monken. Like, do people understand that when he was the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay with Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard, tight end was a massive part of the offense. When he was the offensive coordinator at the University of Georgia, you know what we had? We had Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington, right? Tight ends, focal part of a goddamn collegiate offense, which you never see. I'm telling you right now, you know what? Ain't no college running an offense through a tight end, except for Georgia with Brock Bowers and Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator. He goes to Baltimore. They draft 2 tight ends in round 1 back some time ago. Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. And who'd the offense run through? Mark Andrews. And now you're telling me he's going to walk into Cleveland, see Harold Fannon Jr. and say, you know what? We probably don't want to hyper-target this guy. We just want to throw everything to Jerry Jeudy. We want to throw everything to Casey Concepcion and everything to Denzel Boston. We're not going to target Harold Fannon Jr. Like, just the football brain in me doesn't understand that. 352 yards a yak, 6th amongst tight ends last year on the most dysfunctional offensive unit in the NFL, bar none. The most dysfunctional was Kevin Stefanski's Cleveland Browns. It was an absolute joke. Now you're telling me there's some sort of continuity there. Second-year tight end, ascending offense. I just give me Harold Fannin Jr. I don't you don't have to like him. You can like Warren more. You can like Loveland more. But this guy not getting targets because Charlie Whiteside and Jack Stoll are going to take targets from him? Like, stop it. It's not. You don't have to make this complicated. You may not like him the most, but you don't have to make it hard. Harold Fannin Jr. is an easy click for me at tight end.
Yeah, I've actually talked about this. I brought it up a few times where, he does slide and people are trying to maybe get a Warren or go up. And these guys are all much higher. They're jumping for these tight ends where they don't want to miss it. Harold Fannin Jr. is such an easy tap at his range. We're talking about somebody that is, you're right, I'm with you. He's not losing his target competition. He's not going to be affected by these rookies. I think that there is going to be that known commodity when you're talking about somebody that is in the middle of the field, somebody they're comfortable with. I don't care who it is, whether it's Watson or Sanders or whoever. It's going to be Sanders, but if we have to go either or, I'm not worried about it. I'm not. I think that you're right. It's very rare for these guys to jump in and be immediate producers at the tight end position. It is one of the most difficult positions to learn. And I just think that if you're that fluid at it, there's no way. There's absolutely no way he's not a big part of this plan this year. So I'm with it, man. I chose the tight end. I'll get to in a little while too. But Chris, who are we talking about for your guy?
All right. Well, I disagree on the Fannin, but that's okay. I had him as a sell a couple weeks ago, so I got it.
That's okay. That's okay. That is okay.
I don't dislike him. All I think is that he's in a good spot to sell because people like him, and I don't see him reach the other tight ends in that area. Warren, Kraft, I see them being able to elevate a little bit. Fannin, I think his offense limits him. That's all. I don't
I'll come talk to you in December when you're wrong, and then I'll just want you to tell me.
All right.
Say, Ray,
that's it, baby.
Right about that.
Your boy, clip that.
Just a little, and he's gonna knock on your door, man. Just a little tap.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go here with my guy. I had to go. I mean, it's my guy, so I got to go with the guy who I have the most shares of in Dynasty, and fortunately, I have enough contenders to own King Henry this much. So look, this Baltimore offense is ready to roll. King Henry has revived his career coming over from Tennessee. These last 2 seasons have just been phenomenal. I mean, I can remember trading 2 firsts for King Henry 4 years ago, and that has paid off in spades. I mean, every year this guy is labeled as a sell because of his age. When are people going to realize this guy is not going to quit playing until he feels like he's done? Which I don't even know if that's possible. But You go back to high school and look at this guy's numbers. They are absolutely bonkers. Like, the guy had 2,600 yards in his freshman season in high school. Finished off his senior year with 4,600 yards and 55 touchdowns. Like, this man has carried the rock his whole life. There is no stopping him. He delivers the pain. Like, December is the best month of the year for him every season because nobody wants to tackle him in the cold, right? So the value now is absolutely there. In startups, you get the guy in the 7th or 8th round sometimes. Like, this is ridiculous. You can draft a middle-of-the-road team, just not go one way or the other, and then wait and land Derrick Henry in the 7th or 8th round as your first or second flex player. You're just pumping that into your lineup. It's nuts. And then when it comes to the other side, and this is the key here, because I'm not saying go out and buy him necessarily, because he's going to be tough to buy in leagues that are going and have been going for 4 or 5 seasons, because he's probably already on a contender, right? And what contender wants to sell Derrick Henry? I mean, this guy is going to play until he breaks Emmitt Smith's record. That's what I've been saying for 2 or 3 years now. And do either of you guys doubt that this man can break Emmitt Smith's record? He's 4,500 yards short right now. Just put up 1,600 yards on the ground last season. Like, I'm not saying he's going to put up 1,600 yards again, but if he puts up 12, 1,300 yards, are you shocked? And now we have Declan Doyle coming in, who, if he calls the plays anything like his mentor, who watched the analytics so closely to make sure that he gave Kyle Monungai enough touches just so he wasn't predictable as a play caller, right? He did his best, Ben Johnson, that is, to just not be able to let the other team read what his next play call was. And I think that will help keep Derrick Henry getting fed the ball. And I love the Baltimore offense, the direction it could go in. I mean, I love the fact that Lamar Jackson is turning into a good pocket passing quarterback, because it could extend his career 5+ years. And that's what I mean. I love watching Lamar Jackson, and he is a much better passer than people give him credit for. And that only helps Derrick Henry. I mean, Lamar and Derrick Henry, good luck. And one more other note. I mean, even when Lamar went down last season, Henry averaged 111 yards on the ground when Lamar was out, 88 yards while Lamar was in. So you can't tell me that if Lamar goes down that Henry is going to start falling apart either.
Yeah, man. I doubted Henry one time in my life, and that was in 2021. I got on a podcast. I said we're going to see the downfall of Derrick Henry. People were still leaving their groceries outside to desanitize them and stuff at that point. You know, that's how far long ago I said Derrick Henry was going to drop. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, you know, this man is an alien. This man, I don't ever want to doubt Derrick Henry in my life. I think that, you know, if you have this idea that age is going to come for you, he's one of the guys. He's I guess I went over it a little while ago, but I mean, the reality is, like, he's got that. Even Adrian Peterson, you know, didn't, you know, he had that. I guess he came in 32, 33, still had a monster year, but Derrick Henry's doing it year in and year out. You know, you want to say Frank Gore. Even Frank Gore wasn't doing it like Derrick Henry. There's nobody like him.
Didn't put up those kind of numbers at age 32. Emmett was awesome, but man.
I mean, Frank Gore played until he was 35, 36, but he wasn't doing what Derrick Henry's doing. You know, I think that, you know, at this age, doing it the way he does it, I have no reason to ever doubt him at this point. But I guess we had Ray talking about a tight end. I want to talk about a tight end. I really didn't expect to put a rookie tight end on this list. But I think that where I get him, where I see him going, and overall just what I expect from him, I think that we can talk about a rookie immediately producing in an offense, and that's Kenyan Sadi. So obviously there's a lot of prospect fatigue attached to this guy. There's a lot of landing spot worries. I think, you know, him landing on the Jets alone has really faded this guy out of favor for a lot of people. But the reality is he went 17th overall. He's probably one of the most athletic tight ends we've seen in quite a while. I think that, his 40 time, if I have it correctly right here, we're talking about 4.39 40. His agility is what pops for me. He's somebody that can go and be lined up on anywhere in the field. And I think that the reality is they took him for a reason. They took him because they do want to line him up all over the field. They want to use him as a direct weapon. I think that he's going to be a very non-conforming tight end in the sense that I think that he's going to be lined up everywhere. I think that they can use his versatility to a great degree. And we're talking about a massive red zone target. His red zone efficiency in college was through the roof. He's absolutely a yak monster. I'm looking at his numbers right here, 76.1 catch rate, 11 yards per catch. His yak is also up there, as I just said, red zone ability. And what's popping for me is I did a deep dive on tight ends, and I looked at it from 1999 to 2025. The rookie tight ends that finished top 12, it's only 6.7%. But then when you look at the recent 3% of that, we're talking about Tyler Warren. We're talking about Harold Fannon. We're talking about Colston Loveland, Brock Bowers, Sam Laporta, Dalton Kincaid. What does that tell you right now? The NFL is a little different. We're talking about guys that are drafted in the first round or higher up there as far as the NFL goes. They are producing immediately in the NFL. We are seeing a shift where rookie tight ends come in, and they are absolute monsters. They come in, and they're acclimated. Used to be like a 3-year window when tight ends came in. We used to see them come in, slow played. You had to say, wait a couple of years, wait until they get adjusted, this and that. We don't see that anymore. We see a shift right now, and the top tight ends of the class produce immediately. If you go into a rookie draft right now, they're all guys that have been drafted in the last 3 years. Like the reality of it, these guys are all top tight ends, Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren. I mean, Trey McBride is a couple years, but really he was the last prototypical tight end that is in that top tier where he did have to sit behind Zach Ertz. He had to wait a little while. There's nobody in front of Sadiq right now. There's nobody that's going to take the role away from him. He's going to have to sit back. He's going in as the day one starter. I know that the Jets are the Jets, and it's a really hard situation to trust, but much like Harold Fannon last year, he produced in a crazy situation. I think that it's very possible that we see Sadiq come in and be immediate producer for an upside-down team, for a team that doesn't have a quarterback, for a team that might not have a lot of wins. I don't think that that's going to equate to tight end production. I think that I'm all in on this guy producing year one. And I don't know if you guys have any takes on that. If you have any other guys that you want to drop in here, I think that ultimately I could probably go another hour on my guys this week, but hey, you got anything to add in here?
Uh-oh.
I think you're muted, Ray.
Yeah, that's my bad. Rookie mistake.
Here we go.
I mean, obviously, George Pickens, I'm in on him again. And I feel like I can say that because I was in on him well ahead of consensus last year. Devon Achane, I've got no worries at all about Miami and his role inside that offense. So I'm drafting him with total confidence right now. And, I still like Marvin Harrison Jr. as well in Arizona. So I wouldn't consider him like a my guy, but those are players that I'm still drafting. I'm not afraid of. And I like the calls by you guys. I just want to say, Chris, I absolutely am with you with Derrick Henry. I've got him projected in my own projections to lead the league in rushing again. And he's one of the type of players in Dynasty where I'm just willing to ride him into the sunset. If he could die on my roster, it's fine. I value. You're never going to get back what you're really losing, giving him up. There's no replacement value because no one's really paying top dollar for Derrick Henry. So the only other people that would want it is probably a contender to you. And I'm not giving you Derrick Henry.
No.
Give me those 300 plus touches every year. So totally with you on that call.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for me, I guess I'd have a couple other quarterbacks. I mentioned Bo Nix, but I've been in on Joe Burrow this offseason in my startups. It's just, I guess, I don't know if I'd call it an injury discount that I'm trying to get there, but nobody to me sets up as nicely as a Matthew Stafford career the rest of the way, right? I know that rushing is great to have for a floor, but Joe Burrow healthy, he's the only dude out there that I could see possibly being able to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, right? I'm talking a ceiling that's there that he has that nobody else has. The key we all know is, can he stay upright? I mean, the defense is always questionable there. It's the same thing that's going on with Dallas. I think Dallas did a little more defensively, though, so we might see a little bit better defense from your Cowboys, Ray. I don't know what your thoughts are right now, but it's still going to be a circus show with Dak, Sadi, and Pickens. So I'm right there with you on Pickens. And Javonte, too. I mean, it's all like a discount. Javonte is a discount Chase Brown right now. And so that's one. I mean, you mentioned Nerd Boy Javonte from last year. He's still a discount this year.
I agree.
He just got paid. Who are they giving the touches to? No. It's a beautifully constructed, consolidated offense there. For me, even Jake Ferguson is still a good deal, right? Like, some people think that Jake Ferguson, well, he did all of his work when CD was hurt. That's not necessarily true. He still gets red zone looks with both of those other guys there. He's still going to get his 90 to 100 targets, even if those guys are there. So,
agreed.
Like Jake Ferguson, and, you know, the tight end position, I could go on. I mean, Hunter Henry's my guy. Dallas Goedert can still produce for you, and you can go as ugly as Dalton Schultz and get those A-warp tight ends, right? So, I mean, I love going dirty at tight end, and just loading up at the running back, wide receiver positions. But yeah, those are a few of my guys that I've still hung on to from last year.
Yeah, man. I think honestly, the Cowboys could be the greatest show on turf. And when it's all said and done, if Dak stays healthy, I mean, they are mimicking like the early 2000s Rams when they're talking about just a complete team with the wide receiver room. Obviously, we're talking about Kurt Warner being Dak. I just love – I'm all in on that team from a fantasy perspective. I don't know what's going to happen in the real life NFL. I know that Ray's hoping for the best over there, but I think that they're going to be a fun team to watch for sure. Ray, before we get out of here, man, I think Yahoo's having a generational run. You know, I think that they are absolutely like on I'll say like a Boston Celtics 2008 trajectory. You know, they go get a squirrely point guard that's going in and obviously undervalued, big defensive guy, and then they go and get the best sharpshooting three-pointer in the league. They get the heart and soul. They extend Paul Pierce. KG's coming over. Honestly, man, it's just they're buying up just a championship over there at Yahoo, man. I love it, man. I've always had a lot of respect for you, Ray, and I'm always rooting for you, man. I always want the best for you. But I love that you guys are over there at Yahoo. I love that you guys are building up this team. Froen is over there doing the Devi stuff and the C2C stuff. He's on the show next week. Just a lot of fun stuff, man. So anything you want to plug, anything you got coming up, let the people know what you're working on.
Yeah, you could catch myself and Matt Harmon every Tuesday at, 4 Eastern on the Yahoo channel, going through data stuff, 15 takes from us. We just have a good time chopping it up. Me and Jay Rich wake up with Ray and Jay every Monday and Thursday right now here in the off season, and just check out the content on the channel, RayGQ YouTube channel over there, and ddfantasyfootball.com. Different, like we said, man. There's enough out there for everybody to experience a little different piece of every community. And I say, come check out ours. We got some good stuff.
One question for you, Ray. Does the Trinity say that Emeka Egbuka is a top 10 wide receiver this year?
It says he's very good. It says his range of outcome is very good. Very good. And I'm in on Emeka. I just wrote about him in Yahoo today. So yes. Yeah. Usage is good for him. Very good.
All right. With Baker having a chip on his shoulder now, we'll see. He'll be slinging it around.
Fan asking you. He wants to know about his boy over there. All right, Ray. Well, I appreciate you. Chris, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody joining us today. Obviously, Chris just dropped a video today on the channel. Catch all of our content on Dynasty Rewind. Jump on over there. We just dropped the Devi pod. We are doing a redraft pod starting up in 2 weeks with Stacey Perez. Just a lot of good content. go over to Dynotize.com, plug that in, check out our rankings, all that good stuff. Just really busy guys over here doing a lot of content, man. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So appreciate you guys. Once again, Ray, thank you. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.